If you see any of the behaviors that I'm gonna talk about today in the man you just matched with on a dating app, I would strongly reconsider if you want to keep talking to him. I am not here to tell you what to do, but I am here to help you save your time and spare your feelings. So without further ado, let's get into it. If you're new here, my name's Laura Nagel. I'm a dating and confidence coach for high achieving women and the author of the Dream Framework, the first and only dating coaching program with a 6-month results guarantee. I have helped over 100 women find the one within weeks and months, and I would love for your story to be next. Let's go. So behavior number 1 is something that many women try to excuse and make up the logic for, but a man's intentions with this one could not be clearer. And if you try to tell yourself otherwise, you're wasting your time. Imagine you just match with someone and they don't even try to have any type of conversation. They just ask you out right away for drinks. And it's not drinks at 6 or 7 p.m., it's drinks at 9. What many women tend to do is interpret this as a sign that he is keen, he's serious, he really wants to get to know you. But in reality, this is a booty call. He is trying to get you to a bar. I wouldn't be surprised if that bar was conveniently located very close to his. And what he wants to do is get you to bed. So he's not there to date. He might be on dating apps to date and to meet the woman of his life, but he is definitely not considering you to stand a chance for that title. Otherwise, he wouldn't have invited you for late night drinks right after matching. And if you're listening to this and thinking, Laura, you're paranoid, you're crazy. A guy just asked me out to a nice bar. Why is that a problem? The invitation itself is not a problem at all. It's about the time and it's about the context. If you haven't even spoken much, if you just matched, you haven't spoken much, and he asks you out to meet late in the evening, he is not trying to meet you at his freshest. He is not trying to give you guys plenty of time to have long conversations. Because if you meet late, especially during the working week, it doesn't give you a lot of time if you want to finish at a appropriate hour, right? If you want to get to bed on time. So what does that tell you? That he wants to connect with you, but he's not quite sure if he wants to spend time with you talking. Also, the pairing of late night hours and alcohol creates the perfect combination, the perfect atmosphere for you to say yes to going home with a man you just met. And this is exactly what these guys are hoping for. Because if he wanted to talk, he would have invited you out earlier in the day, or he would have suggested another date. He might be keen, he might be very interested, but he would want to meet you at his freshest, and he would want to make sure that you have enough time to have a proper dinner, get to know each other, or maybe organize an activity. But since he is meeting you late at night, it means either it's going to be after working late hours or doing something else. In whichever case, it doesn't position you as the priority for the evening. And that's not a great starting point, is it? If you want to be in a relationship where you are adored, where you're cherished, where you are pursued, where you are worshipped, these relationships don't start with a guy meeting you when it's convenient for him on his way home after work for a quick drink. A man who is intentional will plan in advance. He will take his time to get to know you. And when I say take his time, I don't mean you guys are going to be talking for weeks and months. I mean, you will exchange, it can just be a few messages, but he will try to establish what is it that you're into so that he can organize a date that's interesting and fun to you. And even if he wants to ask you right away, he will ask what it is that you're into. He will ask your favorite cuisine. He will ask if you drink alcohol at all. He will ask if you maybe prefer an activity date. He will ask these questions and plan accordingly. Definitely not have you as some sort of afterthought, spontaneous meeting. One thing that's extremely important to mention here is that it doesn't matter who suggests the meeting. If you, for some reason, want to be spontaneous and maybe you're the one suggesting to hang out late at night at a bar, or even worse, at your place or his place. If you want to do that, that's fine, but just know that you are positioning yourself as a friends with benefits type of connection or a one night stand, because that's the message you're sending by inviting him late at night, by mixing it with alcohol, by putting yourself in a position where naturally it's going to be more difficult to stick to your boundaries and protect them. So if you do go out with your girlfriends for a work dinner, whatever, and you have a few glasses of wine and all of a sudden it seems like a good idea to meet with this cute guy you matched with earlier, don't do it. And if he asks you out that same evening, don't do it either. And that's what I meant with that part about making up the logic, because many women try to make it seem like they're just being spontaneous and life is like a rom-com and they are just romanticizing their life, which is a beautiful concept and definitely something I recommend. But life is not a rom-com, and love does not come from the most unexpected and unlikely situations. Love comes to those who are ready and who act strategically about it. So if he is acting like someone who just wants to get you to bed, that is his intention. There is not some amazing plot twist waiting around the corner in 99.9% of the cases. So if a guy you just matched with or haven't spoken with much asks you out late night to a bar, I want you to politely decline. I want you to make it clear that you don't go on dates that start past 8 p.m. and that you are not interested in quick, convenient meetings. You want a proper date because you're a proper woman who wants to be pursued properly. And I guarantee you, you will not miss out on any intentional, commitment-ready men, because this type of men, they plan in advance and they approach their dates, their matches with respect. Now, the next behavior is the complete opposite problem. If you've been on a dating app for longer than a few weeks, I'm sure you've been in a situation where you match with a guy, the conversation's going on for days, relatively well, and yet the guy is not asking you out. Right before we even get into it, I want you to know that this is a massive red flag. It means he is not serious about dating at all, and it means he is a massive time waster. Why? Because a man who is intentional, a man who has a certain timeline, a man who doesn't just want to take it slow and see where it goes, he would want to meet you and he would want to see if there's a connection, if there's chemistry, and if this is worth pursuing further. And if this guy is happy to chat to you for days and weeks and doesn't show the slightest intention of meeting up, it means that he is very comfortable just having a pen pal, which you can't have kids with a pen pal, you can't get married with a pen pal. This is just a quick and easy fix of validation and admiration for men who couldn't be further from being ready to date, since they are so immature and underdeveloped in terms of their emotional intelligence that they are chasing that validation, they are chasing compliments, they are chasing somebody caring about them without being able to offer the same in return. I know it might seem odd and counterintuitive because you're thinking, if you are over 30, maybe 40 something, why would you go on a dating app and essentially waste your time talking to women you're never planning to meet? Sad reality about modern dating is that many people use dating apps as a tool for validation, as a temporary quick confidence boost. And their intentions are not necessarily to find someone on there, but just to make themselves feel better when they feel down. Or they might be on the dating app for both, meeting people and validation, but either way, if you are chatting to someone and they're not asking you out within 5 to 7 days, that's my rule of thumb, they will probably not do that. And that's for the reasons I just mentioned. Either they're on the apps literally just to chat to women, get the compliments, get the validation, get the admiration, or you are a backup. So there are some women that they pursue actively, that they date, that they meet, but they keep talking to you in case one of these women says no, in case it doesn't work out, then they can ask you out and then they can see if you are worthy of being upgraded to the potential date status. Either way, this is not someone you want to be wasting your time on, because if he doesn't perceive you as worthy, and let's be honest, at the beginning, this is just about the looks and maybe some of the initial answers to the prompts, what's the point? Men are very visual. So if visually he doesn't like you enough to want to get to know you better, but like really get to know you better, not just have some random chats here and there, don't bother. Save your feelings and save your time, most importantly. And on the front of protecting your feelings, if a conversation stays online for too long without you meeting, there are certain expectations that can build up. There are feelings that can be created. And the problem is, these feelings are not real. This is a false sense of intimacy because you're chatting to someone every day. You're sharing your thoughts, your feelings, your reflections to someone you don't even know if you have physical chemistry with. And if you were to meet that person, you could be sorely, sorely disappointed. So, do I recommend going out the day you match? No. But waiting weeks before scheduling a date is not a solution either. If a man is genuinely interested in you, he will make the effort to meet with you. This means he will not wait forever. He will not wait longer than a few days to make his intentions clear. He will also not want to risk that somebody else will ask you out and progress the connection you have with that person, making you less available to him. So if a man is really interested, he will be clear, he will be intentional, he will let you know that he wants to meet you, he wants to get to know you better. And it will not take him more than a few days to establish that. Now, in the previous point, I said that a guy asking you out right after matching is a red flag. An important distinction here is that this is a red flag when he asks you out on the same day when you guys match, to meet on the same day as well. But if you match, the conversation's flowing, and he asks you out on the same day you match, with that date taking place sometime in the future, a few days after, that's absolutely fine. That just shows that he's not on dating apps to mess around. He really wants to establish if that initial connection that you guys have, if this is also supported by a physical connection, and if the vibe in person is right, which makes total sense and is the best solution for both of you, exactly not to build up that false sense of intimacy and to develop feelings for someone you essentially don't know. So if you've been chatting to him for over a week and he still doesn't ask you out and the conversation has the same pace and the same intensity, you can absolutely give him a few hints. You can say that this story would be much better to tell in person, or I will show you this when we meet. And if he doesn't pick up on that, that's a lost cause. At least for your current level of emotional intelligence and for your current level of intentionality. You want someone who matches your level of personal development and readiness, not somebody who you will have to drag up to your level so that they are able to meet you where you want to be met. If it's been days and weeks and he still hasn't asked you out, simply unmatch him. Because men who are emotionally mature understand that a real connection is built in person, not through a screen. Now, the last behavior is a bit more difficult to spot, but extremely revealing once you do. A man who makes big statements very quickly into the connection is always a massive red flag for me. Statements like, I feel like we have such a strong connection already. I know it's just been a few days, but I feel like I've known you my whole life. I miss you. Trying to introduce the routine of saying good morning and good night before you even met. All of these behaviors are signaling love bombing. If you're not familiar with the term love bombing, look it up. I might do a separate episode on that sometime. But in a nutshell, it's a manipulation technique used by narcissists to really open you up so they can get to know you, so they can enter your world and essentially destroy it with time. This is, of course, the most extreme case, and I really hope that fewer and fewer women have to experience emotional abuse from a narcissist. And I really hope that with all the information available on mental health and the rising popularity of vocabulary around emotional intelligence, fewer men will develop narcissistic traits. This obviously applies to women as well, but when you look at the stats, it's mostly men who are narcissistic. But going back to why forcing that emotional intimacy is a red flag and what it means. It's obviously flattering when we match with someone and they just think we are so amazing and they want to spend every waking minute talking to us. They want to learn everything about us. They are just so curious and fascinating. And the thing is, if you have a healthy sense of self-esteem, it seems like the natural thing, right? It's like, I finally met someone who gets how amazing I am. And so you're very happy and very excited because you finally found a guy who appreciates you and cherishes you the way you always wanted your man to. Now, the problem is, people who are emotionally healthy, they will not open up at that rate. They will not flood you with compliments at that rate. Why? Because it's not natural. It's not sincere, most of all. Even if you are the most amazing person ever, which I'm sure you are. If you're watching this, it means you're working on yourself. So I'm not just saying it. Women who are into personal development are the most amazing types of women because they are so self-aware and they are so wise and so open to feedback, which makes them amazing friends, amazing partners, and amazing co-workers. But going back, even if you are the most amazing person, somebody who just met you has no way of knowing that you are the most special woman on this earth, that you are the smartest and you are the coolest and the most beautiful and the most caring and whatever other compliments they're giving you. They just have no way of knowing that. And even if that's true, you should question, okay, how well does that man know me? Is what he's saying sincere? Because even when he mentions a deep connection, we have such a deep connection. I feel like I know you. I feel like I've known you forever. Do you really? It very often starts with us feeling awkward, not reciprocating it. So we say it back, even though we don't necessarily feel it and it feels odd. But then with time, the more you repeat those phrases, the more natural they start feeling. And guess what? You gaslight yourself into believing that this magical deep connection developed just like that. Rushing all these compliments, all these big declarations is one of the biggest red flags of all and should scare you, because if somebody tells you that he feels like he's been waiting his whole life to meet you and you've known each other for a week, what does that tell you about the ease with which he makes these claims? Even if he thinks that to himself, do you think a healthy person would say it just like that? A healthy person would be thinking, I don't want to scare her off. I don't want to be too intense. I don't want her to think that I throw big statements like this around to just anyone. This can be definitely something that he tells you later if he felt that, but he wouldn't start with that because that just makes him look bad. If a man you're seeing is trying to really escalate the connection you have, the level of seriousness, I would always start with questioning his motives. Like, why is he doing that? Because if he is this amazing, great guy, why is he in such a rush to commit to you, to take you off the dating market without even knowing who you are fully and without allowing you to get to know who he is? This would suggest that if he is so quick to make a commitment, he could be just as quick to break it up. So if you want to build something that's sustainable, a relationship that lasts for a long time, you cannot rush it. Love and trust are not built through a few nice moments in controlled environments, such as dates that you go out on a few times a week. It's built through, of course, having these beautiful moments that you share together, but also seeing each other in distress, having fights and seeing how you fight, seeing if your argument styles are compatible, or maybe it's something to work on, recognizing how you feel when you're not your best. How do you show up? What do you need? How does your partner show up for you? And you can't know that by having a few conversations on the phone, having a few dinners together, and exchanging a few dozens of texts. Rushing emotional intimacy very often goes hand in hand with rushing physical intimacy. And that's something that I spoke about in the previous episode. I'll link it somewhere here if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, just go through a previous episode where I'm explaining why having sex too quickly in a new relationship is actually what ruins it. And one of the reasons why having sex too soon is that it clouds your thinking. The hormones that rush through a woman's body the moment she has sex with a man make her justify so many red flags, make her overlook so many behaviors that should make her suspicious. And that's exactly what a man who rushes intimacy, whether that's emotional or physical, wants. So to summarize, a man who is truly interested in you, a man who is healthy physically and emotionally, is not someone who will bare his soul the moment you meet him. Why? Because healthy humans want to protect themselves as well. Yes, he's a man. Yes, it's his job to pursue you, but he will want to protect his ego. He's also afraid of rejection. So, this is definitely not someone who will spill all of his guts and spill everything that he feels on the very first date or within the first few weeks of you guys knowing each other. This will be a man who wants to keep getting to know you, but who will not push you, who will not force you into situations you're not comfortable with, even if it's just saying back certain words or trying to mirror certain declarations. And like I said, sometimes it does happen that you meet someone and you just know right away that they're your person. But that doesn't mean you tell them straight away. It means that you still wait until you're sure and only then you make that declaration. Because even if you do feel that spark, let's be honest, this is based on physical fascination. This is based on maybe shared sense of humor and intellectual connection, but you just cannot know if all of these other ingredients, if how you deal with difficult situations, and if you're able to support each other, and if your love languages are compatible, and so many other aspects of a relationship that are required for a long-term connection, you don't know if they're there yet. So a man who's serious about dating, a man who's serious about you, will allow the time and space for that connection to grow gradually. If you found this episode helpful, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss new episodes. I post every Sunday. See you next week.